DRG Media Group and River 92.7 are bringing you all home Oahe Zap games all season long. Tune in on the radio, listen on the app, or watch live on drgnews.com. Now, let's send it to the broadcast booth for some Oahe Zap baseball.
Nearly 80% of the way through the season, and no game has been bigger than the one that is about to take place here at Hyde Stadium. It's the Oahe Zap and the Casper Spuds trying to fight for that final playoff spot with one game left in this four-game series that we are just under 10 minutes away from getting things going. Hello, everybody. I'm Justin Cowart alongside Dylan Beach and Eli Lewis, welcoming you into the broadcast booth here at Hyde Stadium for a mega Game 4 of this series, which has felt like a playoff series all the way through. The Spuds took 2 games out of 3 thus far, but none more exciting than Saturday night when the Zap won in the bottom of the 10th inning, walking it off against the Spuds, who scored 2 runs at the top of the 10th. Quinn Ludvigsen scored on an errant throw to home plate, and then Nick Golden, the man of the hour, poetic justice after being hit in the ball game, walks it off with a base hit into right field. The speed of Caden Bazanski scoring from second base, one of the most electric victories we've had and one of the largest crowds we've had here at Hyde Stadium all season long, and the Zap trying to recapture some of that magic here tonight, Dylan.
Yeah, and both teams kind of been just trading blows back and forth. The Spuds took game 1, the Zap took game 2, and then the Spuds took game 3. So if we follow that formula, we might be going for a 2-game split here tonight, Justin.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what the Zap needs. The Spuds sit a half game in front of Oahe after last night's win, but a win today for the Zap will put them back in front of Casper when they go on the road, and the Spuds definitely have a tougher schedule on the way out than the Oahe Zap do. So you feel like if you win this game tonight for the Oahe Zap, you're in the driver's seat with only about a week left in the regular season.
Yeah, and despite splitting this, you would lose that tiebreaker, but with that half-game advantage and you're playing a bunch of Fremont, you don't see each other again this year, so it's kind of your control of your destiny is gone. But you have Spearfish playing Casper a lot, and that kind of makes you feel a bit more confident if you can win this game.
So we go back to Saturday night. There are some names missing from both rosters because of some suspensions that were handed down from the ILB for the remainder of this series. Those suspensions will be up today, and both of these teams are going to be happy to get these guys back. For the Zap, they lost Estevan Baca and Caden Bazanski in the scuffle that happened after the game-winning score was come across home plate. For the Casper Spuds, Nick Kambalu, one of their closers, Cooper Hack, one of their relievers, and Jake Martinez, one of their top starters, are out of the lineups for the Casper Spuds. And when you kind of look at things and how these rosters shake out, Estevan Baca wasn't planning to pitch in this series. You've got guys like Gavin Frazier and Jared Pugrad to fill in for Caden Bazanski. But for the Spuds, those are some big names that are missing out of those lineups, including a guy in Jake Martinez, who we thought was probably going to go yesterday had he not been sent to the bench for the rest of this series. So a pretty big loss for a good Casper Spuds team.
Yeah, and those 2 guys that they had lost, I don't think Hack would have been able to pitch the rest of the series because of eligibility off his pitch count the night prior, but Kambulu was warming up to close that game when it was lost, and then Martinez, the undisputed ace of the staff, was likely to go game 3 or 4, so then you don't see that, but we've seen some good starts out of the Spuds pitching staff. I'm just wondering, how many arms do you really have left? Because I know the Zap are kind of dealing with that. After that suspension, how many arms do both of these teams have left for this game tonight?
That'll be the question. The pitching matchup tonight is going to be Wyatt Gladue for the Zap versus Lawson Moreno as the Spuds look for a 4th straight great start. We saw Cade Queen come out and deal. We saw a couple other guys deal for this team earlier on in this series, but it all comes down to tonight. This is the only game that matters here for both teams in the ILB, and there's going to be a lot of eyes from all over the ILB on tonight's game. It's a beautiful evening here in central South Dakota, a hot one as temperatures are just under triple digits. We're sitting at about 98, but there is a nice breeze rolling across the ballpark. At the moment, it's blowing in, so it is a pitcher's best friend here this afternoon. In terms of sunlight, we've got plenty of it. There's a couple clouds hanging over, offering some slight shade, but we don't expect anything to get in the way of tonight's matchup between these 2 teams. We've got 2 of our veteran umpires down on the field, and we've got 2 of the top teams in the ILB facing off here this afternoon. This series has been very fun, and it's had a playoff feel, probably offering some really good experience for one of these 2 teams. Whichever team does end up making it to the postseason, they're going to have the benefit of using this game to their advantage as they get towards the postseason time.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see just how these 2 teams fight after that just back and forth one the last couple of days. The Zap offense has struggled at times, but felt like they were really coming together at the end of the game last night. Just kind of ran out of outs in that one. But I think we are set for a great matchup here today, Justin.
So you referred to that last couple inning stretch for the Zap. They scored a couple runs there in the bottom of the ninth. Couldn't come through. The Spuds scored 2 big insurance runs that ended up being huge for them as they won that game 6-4. But this was very similar to a game against Spearfish a couple weeks ago in a 4-game set when Spearfish was in town. The Zap lost Game 2 of that 4-game series to Spearfish as they went down in kind of a similar fashion as the Zap went down last night. They scored a couple runs towards the end of the game. They ended up losing by 2 runs, 7-5. But we saw the Zap use that momentum, kind of break out of that little slump that they had been in, and they went on to win the final 2 games of that series against Spearfish, and they would go on a tear from that point on. So maybe for the Zap, that last frame in the bottom of the ninth last night was exactly what they needed to kind of shake off the rust, shake off the nerves, and get the bats going for a crucial game for this series.
Yeah, and it's felt like even in some of those games the Zap have lost this year, that late half momentum kind of carries over to the next day, and the Zap have had nothing but slow starts so far in this series, which is why I find it impressive that they've taken a game at all. You've been down in every one of these games, so they keep fighting. I think today's the day where you might finally see that first inning where they score first and just try to protect that lead all day.
And it's going to be up to Wyatt Ledoux to get out of the first inning unscathed, something we haven't seen much of from this Zap starting rotation throughout not only this series but throughout this season, is big innings coming from the opponents early on, and it's going to be up to Wyatt Ledoux to not only try to keep the Spuds at bay, but if they are going to bring runs across, which they are very keen to do in the first inning, keep that to 1, maybe 2 runs, and give your offense a smaller hill to climb up to get back in this ball game. The other thing that they're going to look for out of Wyatt Ledoux tonight in the first inning is keep that pitch count low. They want an efficient first frame out of their starter here this evening.
Yeah, and when you're dealing with a good pitching staff across from you, you have got to keep the damage low, allow your offense to kind of help you out, but you cannot give up those 4, those 5, those 6-run innings, or you're just going to be put away in this one.
So as we look ahead at the rest of the schedule here for the home team, Oahe Zap, they will be still at home here for the next 3 games. After an off day tomorrow, they'll have 3 against the Fremont Moo, and then they will go on the road for 4 games, 2 of which will be against Spearfish, 2 against Fremont. Then they will have a welcome 3 days off before 2 home games against Hastings. Is there anything in this final stretch of schedule that kind of pops out at you, Dylan?
Yeah, it's just that I feel like that series out in Spearfish is going to be really big because Spearfish is already clinched their playoff spot. They don't have a lot to play for down the stretch. But I think right now they really hold all the cards to be like, what team do we really want to face in the second half? They play a lot against Casper. They play against the Zap a couple of times. It's going to be interesting what kind of lineups they kind of throw out against the Zap and the Spuds to see which team they really want to face in the playoffs.
So let's talk about lineups. Before we do that, we'll introduce you to our umpires today. They flip-flopped. It's not going to be the same umpire crew as yesterday, but it is familiar faces. Out on the bases will be Chris Dozark, and behind the plate is our good friend Richard Gilmore, who is an ILB vet. Every team knows this guy by now, and well, he's got a pretty good working relationship with the coaches and the players, I'd say, just seeing how he, handles some of the tenser moments that these games have prevailed, and also kind of the conversations and interactions you see with the players out on the field.
Yeah, he's really patient with people when it comes to ejections. He doesn't believe in trying to eject people. He wants to keep people in the games. He knows the people came to watch these players. He wants to keep them out there. And, I mean, that's a good mentality to have if you're an ump. You got to be able to keep your cool.
We are moments away from first pitch, so let's introduce you to both starting lineups here this afternoon. As always, we'll start with the visiting Casper Spuds. It'll be Hank Harp leading things off, playing shortstop. Batting second will be Caden Wilcox, who will be playing second base as well. Cody Clausius, one of the bigger bats in this Spuds lineup, will be batting third and playing first base. Stone Vasic will be in the cleanup spot, and he will be behind the ditch catching Lawson Moreno here this afternoon. Matt Marsick will be out in right field, batting fifth. Sean Glatz will be out in left field, batting sixth. Andrew Witt will be at third base today and batting seventh. Cade Queen, who we saw dominate that 9 lineup for the Zap the other day in his outstanding start, will be DHing and batting eighth. And batting ninth will be Trent Rucker playing center field. All right, let's introduce you to the home team, Oahe Zap, as they're taking the field, and they're getting introduced over the PA here. Andrew Phillips will be in that leadoff spot yet again where we saw him yesterday. He'll be out in center field. Nick Golden, the hot-hitting Nick Golden, and the growth of Nick Golden will continue everyone. In right field, batting second, Vince Polizzi, who hit a home run yesterday, will be DHing and batting third. Ty Farwell will be at the hot corner, hitting in the cleanup spot. Jared Pugrad will be batting fifth, playing second base. Quinn Ludvigsen will be batting sixth, playing first. Gavin Frazier will be at shortstop, batting seventh. Mason Lang will be catching Wyatt Ledoux today and batting eighth. And in the 9-hole, it'll be Emiliano Curiel out in the left. The Zap are rocking their baby blue tops with baby blue bottoms. They've got the navy blue stripes inlined in white down the side. They've got the Zap Z on the left breastplate, the numerals in white on the right side, and the navy blue caps with the OZ on top. The Spuds are in their road purples with their white and purple cap. They've also got their numerals in white, outlined in baby blue. Teal, some say, but it's blue nonetheless. They've got the gray bottoms, and they are now lining up the first and third base line as we are getting set for our national anthem. So we'll send it over to the press box next door, as I believe it's Jeff Adele singing the national anthem today. He always does a fantastic job. So now time to honor our stars and stripes.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed as the twilight's last gleaming, lights and bright stars through the perilous night. O'er ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rent the air, the bombs bursting in air, came through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Big thanks to Jeff Adele for a great national anthem as we are getting set for first pitch here. An unbelievable day for baseball here at Hyde Stadium, as we've seen an unbelievable series, and hopefully we get to see some more unbelievable pitching out of Wyatt Ledoux here this afternoon. Shock is down on the field, getting the folks hyped up as the fans and the friends of the Zap make their way around Hyde Stadium. Going to be a lot of great action here today. Wyatt Ledoux down warming up, and the Zap out just getting themselves loose. This is a big game for playoff seeding and playoff contention. The Zap feel and the Casper Spuds feel like it is a must-win here today. And going through this Zap lineup, I think Jamie Habiger put about his best lineup possible together here this afternoon.
Yeah, this one certainly feels like a Game 7 lineup, a must-win game, and you got to put your best guys out on the field, and this feels about as close to that as we've seen this season.
We're getting set for first pitch here on the Monday afternoon. I'm all turned around with a 4-game schedule and a 4-game series like this, usually ending up on Monday. Feels like a Friday night feel with this playoff atmosphere here at Hyde Stadium. As I mentioned, the Zap will be still at home after their off day tomorrow, 3 with the Fremont Move. Then their final 2 home games come at the end of next week. It'll be the 26th and the 27th against Hastings, and hopefully for the Zap, they've got a couple more games to follow in the playoff series. Final thoughts before we get underway here, Dylan.
Yeah, you just got to have a big first inning if you're Wyatt Ledoux. The first one sets the tone. Try to get out of this one quickly, get your offense up, and see if they can get you some early run support.
Shock making his way back up to mingle with some of the fans. It'll be Hank Harp, Caden Wilcox, and Clody Clausius leading things off for the Spuds. Beautiful day for baseball here, as we are moments away from first pitch. The coach for the Spuds, no, not the coach and Will Ianconi, the coach bus parked out behind Hyde Stadium. They'll be loading up the guys and headed to their next series as Hank Hart makes his way to the right-handed batter's box for this crucial 4th game of this series. Might as well call it a playoff series, As that's essentially what it has come down to. Zap had felt like they needed to play their best baseball to give themselves an opportunity to put themselves in this spot, and Wyatt Gladue fires the first pitch in for ball one, and we are underway. Jeff Adele just announcing 98 degrees at first pitch. That breeze in the shade makes it feel a little bit more bearable than 98 as Wyatt Gladue comes right back with a first pitch strike. Well, second pitch strike, but his first strike of this at bat. Series has had fireworks, theatrics, it's had it all. Here's the 1-1 from Gladue. That one ripped towards the first base side. Ludvigsen gloves it, steps on first. Gladue ran over to cover, but Ludvigsen says, I've got it. He steps on first and a 3-pitch out for Wyatt Gladue. A great start here in the top of the first.
That's just what the doctor ordered, a 3-pitch at bat to get your first out, and just do that a couple more times. I know it's so simple pitching, get 3 pitches and get an out, but it's not going to all be easy like that. You're going to have some adversity today, and it's just going to be a good test of how Wyatt responds here in this one.
Gladue with an unbelievable off-speed pitch right there. Fanned and missed by Caden Wilcox. For strike one, Wilcox has done a little bit of damage here against the Zap. Gladue trying to keep him quiet. Here on this Monday afternoon, the 0-1 pitch. In there for strike two. Catches the outside corner. Another good spot there by Wyatt Gladue. Wilcox going to step out of the batter's box, take a couple of practice swings. Would love to. Got to talk to Wyatt before the game today. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. An unbelievable 3-pitch sequence there from Wyatt Gladue. Gets him down swinging, and it's quickly 2 outs for the Zap in the top of the first inning.
That's a great start there for Wyatt Gladue, and you're going to have to be great for this team today in a must-win ball game. I mean, we're going to say that 100 times today, but this is about as must-win for these two teams if you want to make the playoffs after we saw those standings come out the other day.
Well, the Spuds social media page called yesterday a must-win, so today also must be a must-win for somebody as the first pitch is skied out into shallow left field. Calling off the third baseman, Ty Farwell, is the shortstop, Gavin Frazier, and it's a 1-2-3 top of the first for Wyatt Gladue, exactly what the Zap were looking for. And the Zap will be coming up here in the bottom of the first. We'll keep it right here for our first inning Fiber Fact, brought to you by Venture Communications. Venture Communications is always offering great fiber along with great live TV. Do you love your current TV lineup with Venture Communications but want to stream? You won't miss a beat with UView Plus. Get all your live TV, all your favorite shows, and all the local sports you love now streaming your way with 100% fiber. It's the same great content. Experience UView Plus today, only available with Venture Communications. Big thanks to our friends at Venture Communications for delivering our first inning Fiber Fact. They've got some unbelievable deals for you, so make sure you go check out Venture Communications today. You can call their business office by ringing 605-852-2224. Get in touch with Venture today. We've got some weather possibly coming in later this week. Luckily for me, Dylan, I've got Venture Communications fiber optic, and I'm not worried about my Wi-Fi going down.
And I wonder if they'll be able to run me a line out to Indiana for when I go home.
They're always growing. Venture Communications is one of the fastest growing industries and companies here in South Dakota, so I wouldn't be surprised if they could hook you up over in the great state of Indiana. It'll be Andrew Phillips, Nick Golden, Vince Polizzi, maybe our most new-look top three of this 9 lineup here for the Zap today. We saw Andrew Phillips in the top of the lineup yesterday for the first time here at Ide Stadium, and now Nick Golden kind of in that 2 spot. Normally, we're either seeing Jared Pugrad or Gavin Frazier up there, but Jamie Habiger, with how hot the bats have been of Andrew Phillips and Nick Golden, get the opportunity to move 2 other hot bats in Gavin Frazier and Jared Pugrad around a little bit.
Yeah, and I feel like we've seen this composition of the lineup, but I don't think we've seen this unique lineup 1 through 9 in the hitting spots, and it's going to be an interesting one because Nick Golden's been so hot on getting on base, and then Andrew Phillips, if he can get on in front of him with his speed, that could be a really good 1-2 punch to get Polizzi and Farwell some RBI opportunities.
And Nick Golden not really doing it all with his bat, getting on base. He gets hit more than anybody in the ILB. He gets hit more than anybody in the MLB, too, as you brought that up to him in his pregame interview the other day. He's still out in front of the league leader in the MLB by about 3 hit-by pitches, and they've had about 3 3 times as many games as the Zap have played.
Yeah, he's sitting at 19. I believe it's Randy Arozarena in first place with 16 at the All-Star break. And Nick Golden probably will get hit his 20th time here in the upcoming series.
Wouldn't be shocked. It's about customary at this point to see Nick Golden get hit by a pitch. Seen a couple hit by pitches here in this series, but a 4-game series, that's plenty of time. As the first pitch from Lawson Moreno comes inside and right on cue, Andrew Phillips gets hit by a pitch, but they're going to say that it was off the bat and a foul ball as he squared the bunt, pulled it back, and Richard Gilmore says it caught some lumber. So that's about as unfortunate sequence of events as you can have for Andrew Phillips. Instead of going down to first base on the first pitch, he's behind 0-1 after wearing a pitch, and he's going to call timeout with Richard Gilmore and kind of work out that hand.
That's not the start you want if you're Andrew Phillips.
Also not the start you want if you're Lawson Moreno. I mean, it worked out well for him. He's ahead 0-1. Lefty comes set. Second delivery inside for ball 1. Zap have struggled to get offense going against this Spuds team, especially against their starters who have been shining here in the 3 first games of this series. That one misses down and in for ball 2. That's 3 straight pitches that have run inside for Lawson Moreno. He was a little bit wild in his warm-up pitches, but of course those don't count. It's all about the ones that come with a batter in the box. Here's the 2-1. That one misses low, make it 3-1. And now Phillips has worked to count into his favor after wearing the first pitch, but also offering at the bunt, so it was kind of a catch-22 for Phillips. Here's the 3-1 pitch from Moreno. Swung on and missed for strike 2. Count run full. Phillips delivered a huge hit in that win Saturday night for the Zap. Brought home a couple runs. Zap would go on to win it 7-6 in extra innings. Starting a celebration in center field. Moreno with the payoff pitch. Lifted high towards the left side of the infield. Hank Harp coming on, calling everybody off and making the first catch and the first out at the bottom of the first inning. So a good job by Lawson Moreno, who got behind, but comes back to get Andrew Phillips. Now that'll bring up Nick Golden. As we mentioned, Nick Golden with that huge hit after he fouled that 0-2 pitch off on Saturday night. It was dropped by the catcher. Spuds thought they had it won. They had to pitch to him again. And the very next pitch, he took it into right field. Pugrad and Bazanski came home to score. Here's the first pitch to Golden, and he wears that one on the face. Lawson Moreno has hit Nick Golden in the face on his first pitch. And now they're calling for a trainer out quickly. Nick Golden has got his face in his hands. And there looks to be maybe some leakage there from Nick Golden. And now Jamie Habiger and Stone Vasic having a chat. Stone probably trying to tell him that wasn't intentional. And can't imagine that it was. If you're Lawson Moreno, you don't want to put a runner on first base. And now there's going to be a warning issued by Richard Gilmore to Lawson Moreno. So the warning has been issued.
Yeah, I don't think it was intentional, but it's not a great look that you took a mound visit the pitch prior.
Took the mound visit, obviously. There's been a couple instances where Nick Golden and the Spuds have not seen eye to eye. And Will Ianconi, the head coach for the Spuds, didn't really have much to argue about with that warning from Richard Gilmore. Nick Golden still being tended to. He's got a big splotch of blood coming out from that nose area, right out of his right nostril.
Yeah, when I asked him about the 20th time he'd be getting hit, I don't think he wanted to wear it at the nose.
No, I don't think anybody wants to wear one off the face. And Lawson Moreno had been missing in there to Andrew Phillips. That first pitch to Andrew Phillips ran up and in, but was fouled off because Phillips was squaring to bunt. The following 3 pitches ran inside. And then the first one to Nick Golden catches him right in the schnoz. But Nick Golden, about as tough as they come, as Devin Skelton told us when he was up in the broadcast booth. And again, likely not intentional, but probably fires up the Zap a little bit to see one of their heart and soul guys get hit on the first pitch. And Sam Nas, the trainer, out there working on Nick Golden a little bit.
I don't even think a Mack truck could pull Nick Golden off the field and out of this game right now. I think he is going to try to fight to stay in this game if he can.
Yeah, even if he's got to shove a big piece of gauze up that nostril. So Moreno going to take some warm-up pitches while Golden gets tended to. That one sounded like it clipped the helmet at first, and Golden's reaction at first was to kind of spin around and trot down to first, and then immediately after one step, he kind of realized what had happened. It's like the pain took a beat to get to him. And now Lawson Moreno is going to walk over to the dugout. Will Ianconi going to come talk to his catcher, Stone Vasic, as Sam Nas has left the field. Jamie Habiger and Devin Skelton still out there checking on Nick Golden, as is bases umpire Chris Dozark. And I think with everything that's happened in this series, everything that happened after the game Saturday night involving the Nick Golden walk-off, makes sense that Richard Gilmore would offer a warning, and I think Will Ianconi understood that. And you see Lawson Moreno walking by Jamie Habiger, the head coach of the Zap, there on his way back to the mound, kind of patting his chest, saying, "My bad." And, you know, Moreno probably feels bad. But that'll bring up Vince Polizzi after all that dust had settled. And Vince Polizzi left the yard yesterday. And, you know, the Zap would love a big swing from Vince here to take an early lead. So Nick Golden with a lead off of first. I'm sure a little bit of adrenaline pumping through as Polizzi takes a fastball over the plate for strike one. That one found its way into the zone. That breeze picking up ever so slightly coming out of right center field. Polizzi swings over top of an off-speed pitch from Moreno for for strike two. Here's the 0-2 on its way to Polizzi. Moreno deals, curveball, loops in high for ball one. Tell you what, we've seen some shocks this year. Not super pleased about being out in the heat. Whoever's in that shock costume today is really working it. Here's the 1-2, Golden on run. That one inside to Polizzi. He almost wears it. Golden will steal second safely. And Moreno all over the place. He's almost hit the first three Zap hitters.
And he's got to be careful because after receiving that warning, even if it's not intentional, if he hits one up high and inside, it might be the end of the day for him after getting that warning from Richard Gilmore.
That's the last thing the Spuds want to do is lose another pitcher. They've already lost 3 to suspension here in this series. Here's the 2-2 to Polizzi. He rips that down the third baseline. It's fair. Golden's going to round third. He's going to score standing. Polizzi's going to chug for second, hit the brakes, and head back to first. And Zap have the lead just like that with a base hit from Vince Polizzi. And Nick Golden doesn't score if he doesn't steal second on the previous pitch. Vince Polizzi waking the bat up, and the Zap lead 1-0 here in the bottom of the first.
That's a big swing from Polizzi. Was flirting with that foul line all the way down, but skips over the base fair and brings up another dangerous hitter in Ty Farwell. And we had said it early in the year about the Sasquatch and Spuds lineup where it felt hard to hide from anybody, but the Zap lineup's really coming to their own, and I think it's about the same for them nowadays.
Ty Farwell checks in. They throw over to first. Backsliding safely is Vince Polizzi. Moreno, a left-hander, trying to kind of deke out the runner at first base with that pickoff attempt. But he's got to be careful. He can't cross that 45-degree threshold, that invisible line that juts out on the mound. Or else it would be a balk. They're going to check on him again. He's back safely. Closer play. But Polizzi's still safe.
This is a lot of work for a guy who's not a real base-stealing threat. If you're in a chance at, I feel like you'd want to do it against a faster runner. Polizzi'd be the first guy to tell you that he's probably not going to swipe too many bags this year.
Yeah, nothing against Polizzi, but he's more of a power hitter than anything else. And another hit by pitch. And again in the helmet. So Lawson Moreno has nearly hit every Zap batter that he's faced. He's hit 2 of them. Well, he's hit 3 of them, but the first one was Andrew Phillips, and that one caught the bat. So Lawson Moreno, who's already been issued a warning, has now hit 2 Zap hitters. He almost hit Polizzi on an inside pitch. He hit Nick Golden in the face, and then he hits Ty Farwell there in the helmet.
Yeah, the pitching coach going to come have a word with him now. He just hasn't had that control here so far through this one.
Well, we mentioned in his warm-up routine he was a little bit all over the place, and I'm sure there might be some nerves there.
It's a big game.
It's a huge game. It's a playoff. It's essentially a playoff game is what it is. And your team got a huge second win in this series yesterday. They staved off a comeback attempt in the bottom of the 9th inning from the Zap, who were 1 base hit away from tying it up. Hey, the Spuds would love nothing more than to get out of here with that 3-1 series victory. But if they lose today, the Zap jump back into that first place spot by a half game. And then it's all eyes on each other as both teams split off and play different opponents. But the first score that both of these teams will be checking each night is their opponent here today.
Yeah, and I get the nerves here because sometimes playing as the favorite and ahead is a lot harder than playing as the underdog with a lot to fight for.
So another hot bat at Jared Pugrad comes up here for the Zap. Pugrad will take ball 1 low. Quinn Ludvigsen on deck, and then Gavin Frazier in the hole. As we've mentioned, Pugrad has led off a couple different times this season, as has Gavin Frazier. So Habiger being able to put those guys in different spots of the lineup is a huge bonus. 1-0 pitch from Moreno. Swung on and missed. Good off speed. Pulled the string on it. And evens the count up at 1 apiece. Pugrad adjusting the helmet. Couple twirls of the bat. Farwell with a big lead off of first. Swung on and missed. Another good off speed from Moreno. Makes the count 1-2. Pugrad's got a huge hole over there between Andrew Witt and Hank Harp at shortstop and third base. If he could poke one through there, Zap would have the bases loaded. If he could find a gap, you definitely see at least 1 run come across. 1-2 to Pugrad. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Got him with 3 off-speed pitches, and Moreno comes back nicely after hitting Nick Golden, giving up an RBI single to Vince Polizzi, and then hitting Ty Farwell. He's now got 2 outs, and that'll bring up Quinn Ludvigsen to the plate.
And that's a very aggressive at-bat from Pugrad, but I feel like you don't hate that one too much if you're the Zap, because one big hit could really break this one open. And, I mean, he swung at a couple low, but there were a couple offerings in there that were in his breadbasket.
First pitch to Ludvigsen, taken for strike 1 on the outside corner. Good fastball from Moreno. Ludvigsen feels due for a big hit. He's had a couple very timely shots all throughout the season. Zap would love one here with 2 outs. And he takes strike 2. And he's behind 0-2. He's going to have to defend the plate here. 2 runners on, 2 outs for Quinn Ludvigsen. The 0-2 pitch, high and away for ball 1. Over at third base, Andrew Witt guarding that third base line. Doesn't want to allow any extra base hits, especially with runners on. Saw Vince Polizzi pull one past him earlier this inning. Here's the 1-2 to Quinn Ludvigsen. Chopped up the middle. That's going to be right to the shortstop, Hank Harp, who's just going to step on second base for the third and final out. But the Zap take the 1-0 lead at the bottom of the first with a timely base hit from Vince Polizzi. We head to the top of the second inning here at Hyde Stadium in a must-win game for both teams.
Looking for happenings in Central South Dakota? The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce Community Calendar is your go-to for all the latest events. From entertainment to local benefits, community activities, and more, there's something for everyone. Email your event to contactchamber@pierre.org and it will be listed on the weekly calendar. To view the calendar, go to www.pierre.org. Let's celebrate together in the heart of South Dakota. The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce, connecting our community one event at a time.
Doing a little spring cleaning at your house? I'm Val Keller, City of Pierre Solid Waste Manager, letting you know the City Supply Swap program can help. We'll recycle cleaning supplies, paint, and other household chemicals you don't want anymore. Plus, you're free to take any products other people dropped off for recycling. The swap program helps our customers and keeps things out of our landfill. Supplies we accept include stains and sealers, pesticides, pool chemicals, typical cleaning agents, as well as oil-based paint, latex paint, and spray paint. For additional information, call 605-773-7434. Again, that's 773-7434 for more information about recycling your household supplies and paint. Let the City of Pierre help you get your home and garage cleared out and cleaned up for the summer months.
This public service message is brought to you by the radio stations of the DRG Media Group in Pierre.
Zap lead 1-0 on the back of Vince Polizzi and Nick Golden. Mike Ledoux stepping back out on the mound, trying to look for another quick inning. So he got out of the first in just 7 pitches.
Yeah, unbelievable start for Wyatt Ledoux. One of the only times we've seen 7 pitches in the first frame.
He sets, fires, misses low for ball 1. But Ledoux, very talented lefty for this staff, has been great in relief for a majority of this season. Has started a couple of times when his family was in town, but this is definitely his highest pressure start.
Yeah, and you couldn't tell that he was stepping into a big start like this, talking to him.
That one catches his own for strike 1.
Before the game, he just felt cool, calm, and collected like it was just another day at the ballpark, and that's exactly what you need out of your starter. You know, when Estevan Baca started with his family in town a couple weeks ago, you could tell there was nerves.
The 1-1 swung foul right below the glass of the press box. That one skips back and almost hits a fan.
But Estevan, you know, Devin Skelton told us, he said he's got his family here. He's a little bit shaky. You know, gave up 4 runs in that first inning, hit a couple batters, but he settled in after that. Wyatt Ledoux didn't feel like he had those nerves today when we talked to him down on the field.
Ledoux, the 1-2. That one swung sky high to right field. Nick Golden giving chase, settling under it and bringing it into the glove for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, and there is a staunch breeze blowing across the field right now, and you can tell that Nick Golden definitely didn't feel like that was a routine pop fly out there to right. He didn't camp under it. His feet were always moving, so that ball was definitely shifting and moving around in the air a little bit. So that's going to be something to deal with here today for these outfielders, and probably even some of the infielders and catchers, too.
It is a very windy day. Great breeze blowing back in as Ledoux fires that one in for strike 1 to Marsick. Ledoux has been outstanding in some short work here so far in this one. Has been getting ahead of these batters, really going to attack. The 0-1 now. Turns 0-2. Ledoux just peppering the zone of strikes. 13 pitches, 11 strikes for Wyatt Ledoux.
It's a pretty unbelievable ratio, if you ask me.
The 0-2, swung, chopped foul.
I don't know how Matt Marsick got down to that one.
Yeah,
that was a pretty impressive swing right there to make contact. That ball was coming across his shoe tops almost.
I don't know how he got down to that one. That one was looking like was going to need a golf club to reach. That one was going to bounce at the plate, but good stay alive swing. The 0-2 now. Oh, Richard Gilmore thought about ringing him up on the inside edge. I thought he was rearing up for it, but that one misses for ball 1.
Yeah, and a good take there by Matt Marsick. He's seen those inside pitches get called balls today, so.
Marsick has really been doing a lot of damage for the Spuds as he grounds that one sharply to Pugrat at second. Goes down for the second out. Good play from Jared Pugrat. Marsick really got a hold of that one, but the only issue is kind of Kind of what the Zap have struggled with a lot this year is just hitting it hard, but right to a defender, and Pugrad making the routine out.
Yeah, Pugrad's just as smooth as butter with the glove. He makes pretty much every play look routine. He's a fun infielder to watch.
As Gladue misses off the plate for ball one, Sean Glatz steps in.
Glatz has got a little bit of the Trey Maples going on with the high pants looking like shorts. Now, Trey Maples
At 6'5" has
Yeah.
the 1-0 now, 2-0.
And it was funny is it's amazing what moms will do for their kids, because she said, look, he's got a, whatever it was, 37-inch inseam. We had to get creative, and Miss Maples, I think he did a great job. The knees were looking great on Trey Maples yesterday.
2-0, chopped towards Farwell at third, firing across the diamond. A great throw from Farwell. Gets the 1-2-3 inning for Wyatt Gladue. He has been moving fast through 2 innings, only throwing 19 pitches. The Zap lead 1-0. We'll be right back here on River 92.7.
Thinking of travel? Pierre Regional Airport offers non-stop flights to Denver. Starting August 1st, book your destination at United.com. With United Mileage Plus, you can save more by earning miles when you fly from Pierre Regional Airport. 1-hour flights to Denver and the world beyond. Avoid the crowds, avoid the drive, and enjoy free parking when you fly from Pierre Regional Airport. United Airlines in Pierre starting August 1st. Skip the drive. Fly from Pierre.
We're good at making excuses for things we don't want to do.
I can't work late because my cat has a job interview.
Unfortunately, we're also good at making excuses for things we shouldn't do, like driving drunk.
There's nothing on the back roads but cows.
The truth is, there's no good reason to drink and drive, not even if you stick to the back roads. If you drink, don't drive. No excuses. Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, South Dakota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
If you're interested in becoming a valued sponsor of an Oahe Zap broadcast, you can contact us for more information at sports@dakotaradiogroup.com or call us at 605-224-8686.
Hey Zap baseball fans, it's Justin Cowart. If you're interested in a podcast that's sports and only sports, you need to check out Players Perspective. I have athletes and coaches from the South Dakota area and across the country, from the high school all the way up to the professional level. Come on and tell stories of their biggest and best moments of their athletic careers. If it's sports, you bet we cover it on Players Perspective Podcast, sponsored by Avera. You can find it wherever you find podcasts by searching DRG Media Group or on drgnews.com. Now, back to myself and Dylan Beach in the broadcast booth for some more Zap Baseball.
Everyone rocking out at Hyde Stadium to some Willie Nelson and Toby Keith. Shock the Wolf making his rounds, giving out some fist bumps. He's having some issues with them stairs right now. It's pretty hard to see in that thing. As Gavin Frazier watches strike one to start the bottom of the second.
Yeah, and he got shooed away from the Spuds dugout area. He was over there doing mascot things, and they said, we don't want you over here.
Frazier chops that one towards third, chasing it out, and safe at first. It was a tough play for both Hank Harp and Andrew Witt. Witt tried to field it, but got through his wickets. Harp did a nice job preventing that one from getting to the outfield, but got to be perfect to get Gavin Frazier out at first, and he legs out a single.
Yeah, all-around good play for that Spuds infield. Hank Harp making a tough throw on the move, and he delivered it on the money. Cody Clausius had to stretch to get it, and it just barely pulled him off the bag. I think if he'd been able to stay on the bag, they probably get Gavin Frazier out, who's a fast runner. So you got to tip your cap to Hank Harp, but the Zap get the leadoff runner on, exactly what they need here in the bottom of the second.
A soft chopper gets Gavin Frazier on. They pick off at first, and they say they got him. Gavin Frazier can't believe it.
Yeah, I can't either. And that's that good move there from Lawson Moreno. It's tough,
Now Lang swings through that one for strike one.
That's a tough angle for an umpire to make that call out. And, of course, we're far away from it, so it's hard to tell. But the umpire set up in the middle of the field doesn't really get to see that tag all that well.
Lang washes that one in for strike two.
But to the Spuds' credit, it looked like Gavin Frazier was still kind of working on his lead, so he's a little bit off balance when he tried to jump back to first.
0-2 to Lang, driven back the other way. That one giving chase, making the diving play is Sean Glatz. An outstanding effort from left field where it kind of looked like it was going to squeak into no man's land, but Glatz doing a Superman dive and making the play for the second out.
Yeah, that was a great play from Glatz out there. I thought you were kind of saying the same thing. Looked like he was going to have that one drop in right behind the shortstop and right in front of the left fielder. But Glatz showing off that speed, getting to it, extending out, making a great play for the second out.
And just like that, when you had the leadoff runner on, now 2 away for the Zap. Emiliano Curiel at the plate. Swings, drives that one down the right field line, foul. That one gets out of play. Marsick not giving much chase.
Yeah, and the other thing for Moreno, too, in this inning is with that pickoff and then the first pitch swinging out into left, you keep your pitch count low. Keep it pretty efficient after a bit of a rocky start in the first.
Emiliano Curiel lines that one back to right. Marsick settling under it. A well-struck ball from Emiliano Curiel. Puts the tried and true Zap out. A hard hit ball right to a defender. Marsick brings it in for the third out. The Zap still lead 1-0. We'll be right back after this short break.
Hey, it's your phone talking. Yeah, your phone. You know, that thing you're constantly picking up and poking around. Listen, when you're behind the wheel, would you please give me a break? You'll have plenty of time for your TikToks and, I don't know, texting your friends after you put it in park. Distracted driving, friend, no joke. One quick text or social media feed can cause a crash, and hey, I don't want any part of that. You got someplace to be, and trust me, I'll enjoy the downtime. Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety and its station.
Dunes Golf is celebrating their 30th anniversary this summer. They look forward to seeing old friends and new acquaintances on the driving range and on the course throughout the summer. Play 9 or 18 holes, pay by the round, save with a punch card, or become a member for unlimited play. Dunes Golf is a great location for group outings or a summer play day. Call 605-223-2525 or see golfdunes.com. Just 1 mile north of Fort Pierre on Highway 1806. Dunes Golf.
Thinking of travel? Pierre Regional Airport offers nonstop flights from Pierre to Denver. From there, you can fly anywhere. Book to your destination and check bags through on United, Delta, or American Airlines. 1-hour flights on 50-passenger jets to Denver, then connecting to your destination. Save travel time and money, avoid the crowds, and free parking when you fly from Pierre Regional Airport. Skip the drive. Fly from Pierre Regional Airport.
Back here at Hyde Stadium, and one of the favorite mid-inning games, beat the whoever is running. Sometimes it's the Bolt, sometimes it's Esteban Baca, and tonight it was Brooks Cartwright against what looked like a high school runner. Now, in the Beat the Bolt, the runner gets the head start and then the Bolt can chase him down. Brooks Cartwright played the role of the Bolt tonight, but he looked like he needed the head start there. He got dusted. There was a bigger gap when Brooks took off, or excuse me, when they crossed the finish line than when Brooks took off. As the first pitch is lined out into left, Curiel trotting back, and he's got the first out as Andrew Witt goes down on his first swing. They line out to left field. Talk about efficiency for Wyatt Gladue. 1 pitch, 1 out. That's exactly what he's looking for here at the top of the third inning. Zap leading 1-0 still. After the Zap brought one across on the Vince Palizzi RBI in the first.
Already 2 early substitutions. That's now Tyler Hoffman out in left and Alex Jackson in right.
And Gladue delivering a first pitch strike into Cade Queen. So some movement in the outfield for the Zap a little bit sooner than I think we expected, as Dylan's going to update the board here as he always does so well. Cade Queen fouls this one off the neck of the bat into those big thighs of his. And he's behind 0-2. Cade Queen delivered a sparkling start. Went no hit in baseball for about 6 innings against the Zap the other night. Jake Fuller with a great start as well for the Zap, but kind of lost in the shuffle with how good Cade Queen was. We'll see if he can deliver at the plate. The 0-2, chop towards Farwell. He plays it on a Sunday hop. Fires over to first. Squats down, does Ludvigsen, and squeezes the second out of the inning. So 4 pitches, 2 outs for Wyatt Gladue. We'll see if he can one-up his first inning, where he only threw 7 pitches in that 3-up, 3-down frame. And that'll bring up the bottom of the lineup and Trent Rucker. Wyatt Gladue working smoothly through this Spuds lineup his first time through. We'll see if he can continue that against Rucker here. His first pitch is low in the dirt to Mason Lang for ball 1. So yes, the only substitutions made in the outfield is a couple shuffling around. Tyler Hoffman in left, Curiel out in center now, and Nick Golden in right. Here's the 1-0 to Rucker in there for strike 1. Rucker turns around with a big smile and disbelief back towards Richard Gilmore.
And I apologize, Justin. I wrote down the wrong name out there. That's Alex Jackson in right.
After I said you'd update the board so well.
I know it. I was just thinking about Nick Golden that whole time because he took that pitch to the head, and they must be valuing that health and taking him out early in this one.
Well, you'd think after 25 games I'd be able to tell who's who, but I'm getting old and my eyes are working against me. That one check swing, no appeal. And you say he did not go. 3-1 is the count here for Gladue to Rucker. See if Gladue can get back in this at bat. 3-1 pitch in there for strike 2, and Rucker dropped the bat, started taking off the elbow guard, and he realized he's got to face another pitch. Count runs full here with 2 outs and nobody on. More clouds moving their way in over Hyde Stadium here tonight. Gladue's pitch popped up our direction. That's going to make its way towards the fans as Lang runs out of room chasing that down. I didn't see any weather on the radar, but as I look back at these clouds behind us, I start to think otherwise.
That kid that just got that foul ball has a glove full of them. He has 4 foul balls in there.
Must be stocking up for the big gulp slushy. Here's the payoff pitch. That one's lifted down the right field line. Jackson giving chase over towards the Zap bullpen and runs out of room as that one leaves the playing area. I'm going to give you an over-under a minute on how long it takes my father to send us a picture of the radar here in Pierre.
Under
a minute. You're on the clock, Big John. 3-2, Gladue ahead. Well, I guess you can't really say ahead. It's a full count, but he's got 2 outs and nobody on. There's another payoff pitch to Rucker. That one just missing outside. Mason Lang letting Wyatt Gladue know it was a good spot on the pitch. Gladue was making his way back towards the Zap dugout, but it's the first Spuds base runner of the ball game, and we're back to the top of the lineup in Hank Harp.
There goes the perfect game.
And it's gone as quickly as it was. That one usually plays in like the first inning or the second inning. He was perfect up until that point. First pitch to Harp is lined out into left. Tyler Hoffman underneath it, and that's the side as Wyatt Gladue does give up his first Spud base runner, but he gets him out just as quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, top of the third, and we head to the bottom half with the Zap leading 1-0 here at a must-win game at Hyde Stadium.
The summer is here, and you know what that means. The Oahe Zap are back, and we at DRG Media Group are bringing you coverage of every Zap home game all summer long. You can hear all the home Zap games on River 92.7, or you can watch them live on drgnews.com at the River 92.7 station page. The Zap are offering you fans something new every single night, so get out to Hyde Stadium for some Zap baseball this summer. Purchase your tickets on oahezap.com or buy them at the box office. If you can't make it to the game, we've got you covered on River 92.7 Oahe Zap Baseball, brought to you by DRG Media Group.
Well, Andrew Phillips has departed from the game. We were wondering what happened. He's got an ice bag on that right hand, and we remembered he got hit on the first pitch of the game, right on that hand. And, I don't know if he's still trying to sell the hit by pitch or if he's actually hurt, but Richard Gilmore was not buying it. He made him stay in the box.
It's a scary place to get hit. We hope he'll be all right.
So as we look at the radar, it looks like we might have some showers moving through here in about an hour's time. But we're already in the bottom of the third, so we'll see if we can scoot through a couple innings and try to beat it. We've only had one real delay here at Hyde Stadium throughout this home stretch for the Zap. It was a lightning delay that was over in the allotted 30-minute time, and they didn't go a second over that 30-minute break. They got back in it. We did have a rain postponement against the Spearfish Sasquatch earlier this year. That one had to be picked up on the road. And with the season winding down, I'm not sure when they could try to make up this game. They've got an off day tomorrow, but there is a game here for post-8, so maybe they could play that or pick it up in the morning. But, of course, Casper is to get on the road. But, of course, we don't want to try to figure all that out. We don't want to deal with it. We'll hope that that rain does what it does when it gets to Pier, and that is just dissipate and move around us. Tyler Hoffman will step in and swing and foul off the first pitch as he is now checked into left field. And maybe that Andrew Phillips injury having a little bit to do with some of the bodies moved around that outfield and around this lineup. Hoffman check swing, and he chops that one over to Jamie Habiger, who's still assuming his position over there as third base coach. After a shaky first inning, Lawson Moreno has settled in nicely in the second, and he's quickly ahead 0-2 to Tyler Hoffman here. Hoffman takes ball one inside. Alex Jackson on deck here for the Zap. Hoffman waiting patiently now. Says he's ready to go. Moreno with the 1-2. Swung on and missed for strike three. Another good off-speed pitch from Lawson Moreno, and he's got another strikeout. We'll see if Alex Jackson can get to Moreno here, as he is now hitting in the 2-hole. I guess Nick Golden's day after getting hit in the face is done. Golden was able to stay on the base paths, and he scored on a Vince Polizzi RBI single into the left field corner. First pitch to Jackson, up and in for ball one. Moreno working quickly. Deals to Jackson. Jackson chops that one towards the Spuds dugout, and that one bounces off the netting and continues its way down towards the Spuds bullpen. One and one is the count. Alex Sheets kind of looking up at the skies over top, the general manager for the Zap, as Jackson takes another off-speed pitch in there for strike two. And maybe it was some nerves for Moreno, pitching in a high-leverage situation like this. Had some command issues early, but has settled in nicely. Ahead 1-2 to Jackson. Here's the pitch. This one chopped towards the second base side. Gloved by Caden Wilcox, and he'll fire over to Clausius at first for the second out of the inning. But that'll bring up Vince Polizzi, who delivered the first run of the ball game for the Zap yesterday with a solo shot to left field, and he delivered the first run of the ball game here today as well. He went to left field with that one too, but he just barely squeaked it in between Andrew Witt at third in that third base line. Nick Golden was standing on second when Polizzi got that hit. He scored, and the first pitch to Polizzi is bounced in for ball one. Not the win that Vince Polizzi was hoping for today, as it's blowing right back into his face and is picking up ever so slightly. 1-0 to Polizzi. That one chopped on the third baseline foul. All in all this summer, I'd say we had pretty good weather here for the Oahe Zap.
I'm just laughing because that ball kept creeping towards their dugout, and Coach Habiger just went over there and grabbed it like at the dirt.
Polizzi takes ball two high and in.
One of the players looked very defeated. He was really hoping it was going to keep rolling to him.
2-1 is the count with 2 outs and nobody on to Polizzi, as he takes that one down and in for ball three. So a good take by Polizzi. He is in the driver's seat, and Ty Farwell on deck. Jared Pugrad in the hole. See if the Zap can do something they've done all season long, deliver a little bit of 2-out magic. 3-1 to Polizzi. That one is ripped towards the shortstop, off the backhand of Hank Harp and into left field. So Polizzi really peppering that left side of the infield today. He's got his second base hit of the ball game. And Ty Farwell coming up to the plate with a runner on and 2 outs.
Yeah, good swing there from Polizzi, and we'll see if Farwell can get some two-out magic going here for the Zap.
It's pretty incredible. Also unbelievable how much two-out work the Zap have been able to produce all season long. Seems like a majority of their runs have come with two outs throughout this season, especially this home schedule they've had here. You never count the Zap out, especially last night. They were trailing by a couple runs, but they started to chip away at that lead in the bottom of the ninth inning and had a chance to tie that game up, even win that game. The winning run was at the plate. So Farwell awaits the first pitch from Lawson Moreno. Big swing and a miss up in the zone for strike one. And we do have some injury updates for you from Nick Golden, who Lawson Moreno hit in the nose on his first pitch of his at-bat. He is headed to get looked at the hospital. Possible broken nose and a possible concussion for Nick Golden. That is about the worst news that you could hear. As Farwell swings and misses at strike two. It kind of speaks to how tough Golden is. He made his way down to first base and was begging and pleading not to be let out of the game. But sure, for precautionary reasons, they want to make sure that he's all right. Here's the 0-2 to Farwell off the plate for ball one.
The ultimate competitor, man. He stayed out there, stole a base, and scored. And just know that Zap family's thoughts are with you right now, Nick. If you're listening.
I'm sure he's tuned in somehow. He's probably got the game pulled up. And now the Zap, who already had enough to play for, add another little piece to this puzzle. As Farwell behind 1-2. Polizzi on first. And the pitch. Swung on and missed by Farwell for strike three. So Polizzi gets another base hit, but he's stranded at first. Zap still lead 1-0 as we head to the top of the fourth inning here at Hyde Stadium.
Hey, it's your phone talking. Yeah, your phone. You know, that thing you're constantly picking up and poking around. Listen, when you're behind the wheel, would you please give me a break? You'll have plenty of time for your TikToks and, I don't know, texting your friends after you put it in park. Distracted driving, friend. No joke. One quick text or social media feed can cause a crash. And hey, I don't want any part of that. You got someplace to be. And trust me, I'll enjoy it at downtime. Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety and its station.
Dunes Golf is celebrating their 30th anniversary this summer. They look forward to seeing old friends and new acquaintances on the driving range and on the course throughout the summer. Play 9 or 18 holes, pay by the round, save with a punch card, or become a member for unlimited play. Dunes Golf is a great location for group outings or a summer play day. Call 605-223-2525 or see golfdunes.com. Just 1 mile north of Fort Pierre on Highway 1806. Dunes Golf.
Thinking of travel, Pierre Regional Airport offers nonstop flights from Pierre to Denver. From there, you can fly anywhere. Book to your destination and check bags through on United, Delta, or American Airlines. 1-hour flights on 50-passenger jets to Denver, then connecting to your destination. Save travel time and money, avoid the crowds, and free parking when you fly from Pierre Regional Airport. Skip the drive. Fly from Pierre Regional Airport.
Looking for happenings in Central South Dakota? The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce Community Calendar is your go-to for all the latest events. From entertainment to local benefits, community activities, and more, there's something for everyone. Email your event to contactchamber@pierre.org and it will be listed on the weekly calendar. To view the calendar, go to www.pierre.org. Let's celebrate together in the heart of South Dakota. The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce, connecting our community one event at a time.
As we're back here for the fourth inning, Wyatt Gladue, the 0-0, swung through in the dirt from Wilcox.
We saw the Zap have a full-on team meeting out in front of the dugout before that last at-bat. Probably getting the news that Nick Golden is headed to the hospital to be checked on for a concussion and a broken nose.
0-1, bounces in the dirt for ball one.
That meeting was player-led, too, by Hudson Ivey. One of the quiet leaders of this ball club, got everybody together, and I'm sure, as you so astutely pointed out
That one swung on a miss for strike 2 for Gladue.
Dylan, that was probably what that meeting was all about. Whether, what the... We don't believe that there was any intention behind that pitch. But, you got to play for your guys and stick up for your guys.
The 1-2 chopped foul down the third base line.
And again, like we said, as if you needed anything more to play for. Guy Nick Golden, who's kind of stood out at the forefront for your team, taking a lot of arrows from other opponents. And we know that the coaching staff was none too pleased either.
The 1-2 grounded sharply towards Farwell, recovering, firing over to first, not in time. Just barely missing that one by a step. Farwell was trying to bring that one to the glove, finally did, turned and threw, and just barely missed the throw out on Wilcox at first.
Well, you can't give up. You can't give these Spuds runners an inch. You've got to field everything cleanly. You've got to make everything as routine as possible. And, well, right there we just saw that out of Caden Wilcox at his speed. You bobble it, he's gonna take first base safely.
The 0-0 to Clausius swung through for strike 1. Clausius guessing on that one. As Gladue shakes off a couple of pitches. Finally comes to an agreement on one. Set steals, misses for ball 1.
And back to the Nick Golden hit by pitch. Jamie Habiger and Will Ianconey had what looked to be a somewhat animated conversation. And there's rules of thumb for things like that in the game of baseball. And Will Ianconey got very animated with Lawson Moreno in the dugout.
The dude checking on the runner, that one skipping into the glove of Ludvigson.
We've seen it all the time as guys saying, if you want to hit me, just hit me in the back or the butt or something. But Lawson Moreno was like, I didn't mean to hit him.
The 1-1 now. Low for ball 2.
I think that's the craziest part about the whole thing is Will Ianconey trying to explain that to him, but you could see him like kind of saying, I did not mean to hit him.
Gladue trying to get out of this mini jam. The 2-1 fouled back the other way. Count runs even at 2 apiece. Gladue has been just about perfect in this one. Giving up his first hit just on that one to Farwell. He gave his first walk the last innings. Only 2 base runners allowed through 3 innings of work for Gladue.
Surprised that wasn't scored an error on Farwell. Because it kind of hit him square in the glove and just dropped down a play you see Farwell make 99 times out of 100.
As Gladue fires the 2-2, swung, driven through the middle of the infield. The runner's going for third, puts on the brakes. Gavin Frazier picks it in between. So it's a station-to-station single for Cody Clausius.
Yeah, but nobody out, Spuds threatening right now, and that's why you can't give this team an inch or they'll take a yard.
And Katie Acosta did score that one as an error. It's at the field as a hit. So a bit of a split decision here as Stone Vasic steps in. Zap, a little bit of a jam, the first bit of adversity of the day for Wyatt Gladue. See how he responds. Runners on first and second, he deals. That one skied foul down the right field line.
Yeah, and if you're Wyatt Gladue here, you would love to get a couple different things. You would love to get a strikeout. You'd love to get a ground ball over towards third, maybe get Farwell to step on third and get that lead runner. Maybe a soft pop out to the infield. But whatever you can do to try to keep this a 1-run lead for your team.
The 0-1 skips in for ball 1.
And things are getting dark here at Hyde Stadium. A little bit by minute, we see those clouds behind us rolling in.
Yeah, we got a window in the press box that shoots back towards the Capitol, and it does not look pretty back there right now. 1-1. Swung, driven into play. That one going to get down in center field. Emiliano Curiel racing to fire. Wilcox running for the plate. The play at the plate, not in time, so Wilcox will tie things up on what is turning into a great inning for the Spuds. Wyatt Gladue, first blemish on his ERA today.
Yeah, good piece of hitting there by Stone Vasic. Kind of got him on the neck of the bat, softly hit out into center, and that does a couple things for you. One, it doesn't put enough air under it to get Curiel in position to make a catch, but two, it makes it tougher to get to that ball in time and come up firing to throw out the runner at home. So now this is what Devin Skelton, I believe, is probably saying to his guys. Long baseball game. We're only in the fourth inning. Got a lot of innings left to play. You cannot let this snowball into a big inning like we have seen in months past, weeks past. All right, they got you for that one run, but dig in here, get a big first out, and then you could try to get a double play to end the inning, but you cannot let this devolve into a big inning for the Spuds and put yourself back behind the 8-ball.
Yeah, Marsick would be a big out to get if you're Gladue. Arguably the last guy you would want to see in this series after he left the ballpark the other day. But like we've talked about, all these lineups in the ILB, it's a hitter-friendly league, and there's nowhere to hide on a lot of these teams. And you see that with Matt Marsick being all the way down in the 5 spot today.
Yeah, we talk about it with the Zap, as there's nowhere to hide. Same thing for the Spuds lineup, like you said. There's great hitters kind of riddled all the way throughout, so you have to be careful no matter what point you're in for the lineup for either of these teams. You know what? Forget the playoffs. Why don't we just put a little playoff series together with these 2 out of 7?
Marsick showing bunt, pulls it back, and skies one out to left field. Hoffman settling under it, bringing it in the glove. Just what the doctor ordered, a shallow fly ball where the runners don't advance for Wyatt Gladue.
Yep, kind of goes back to what we were just talking about in that first out, how you needed it, a soft fly ball that runners can't advance on, get that first out, keep a force play in order at every single base, and now you can get a ground ball and get out of this inning and kind of kill the momentum that has been created by the Spuds here in the 4th.
Brings Glatz to the plate. There's a force at every base. One away for Gladue. That one chopped up the middle. Pugrad stepping on second, firing to first, and getting the double play. A big double play to end the inning for the Zap. It's tied up, knotted up at 1 apiece here, heading to the bottom of the 4th. We'll see if the Zap can respond here at Hyde Stadium.
Looking for happenings in Central South Dakota? The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce Community Calendar is your go-to for all the latest events. From entertainment to local benefits, community activities, and more, there's something for everyone. Email your event to contactchamber@pierre.org and it will be listed on the weekly calendar. To view the calendar, go to www.pierre.org. Let's celebrate together in the heart of South Dakota. The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce, connecting our community one event at a time.
Doing a little spring cleaning at your house? I'm Val Keller, City of Pierre Solid Waste Manager, letting you know the City Supply Swap program can help. We'll recycle cleaning supplies, paint, and other household chemicals you don't want anymore. Plus, you're free to take any products other people dropped off for recycling. The swap program helps our customers and keeps things out of our landfill. Supplies we accept include stains and sealers, pesticides, pool chemicals, typical cleaning agents, as well as oil-based paint, latex paint, and spray paint. For additional information, call 605-773-7434. Again, that's 773-7434 for more information about recycling your household supplies and paint. Let the City of Pierre help you get your home and garage cleared out and cleaned up for the summer months.
This public service message is brought to you by the radio stations of the DRG Media Group in Pierre.
You weren't supposed to cut my mute button off there.
Hey, this music, it's hard not to jam along as we asked our trainer, now turned meteorologist, for an update on the weather, and he goes, it's depends on the app. It's kind of shaky right now.
Well, he said one app shows it goes north and misses us. The other app says it's going to come hammer us right here.
Yeah, and I think the Missouri River probably says another thing, because it'll probably split it up into 3 different storms.
That's about how it goes.
But
would have loved to have a little microphone there in the talking to from Will Ianconey to Lawson Moreno in the dugout there. Got pretty animated. And Moreno kind of defending himself. Ianconey getting his point across.
And he's still out there. They have some action in the bullpen. It's Ty Vollmer.
Yeah, he settled in really nicely as Moreno after that shaky first inning.
See if the Zap can get any more damage done to him. As both teams, some action in the bullpen. I think it's Hudson Ivy starting his warm-up in the bullpen right now. Still rocking the hoodie, so very early on in his routine. As that one's fired in there for strike one to Jared Pugrad.
And how about Wyatt Gladue giving up that first run, having runners on first and second with nobody out, getting himself out of the jam.
Off speed dropping in there for ball one. And Pugrad, a do-it-yourself double play. Fielding, stepping on the bag, and firing over to first. 1-1 now to him. Line towards short, and an outstanding play from Hank Harp to rob extra bases.
Yeah, Hank Harp might need to go see Andrew Phillips and get that ice bag, because that one had to have hurt the palm. That had some steam coming off of it. And, of course, Jared Pugrad, another sharp base hit, but doesn't become a base hit because there's a defender right in the way.
That one was headed for the gap. An outstanding jump and snag from Hank Harp, keeping Pugrad off the base paths. That one catches the outside part of the zone for strike one to Quinn Ludvigsen. Quinn Ludvigsen always trying to take patient at-bats. That one runs high and in for ball one. Kind of the issue for him here lately is teams have really been throwing a lot of first pitch strikes to him, so kind of limiting his patience at the plate. Now he's ahead in the count 2-1.
Well, his patience has kind of come back to bite him a couple times in that regard of, they get that first pitch strike, but also he has counts where he's been with 2 strikes and has been a little bit too patient.
2-1, misses off.
Watch some third strikes come in.
And it's kind of a dangerous spot because you'll say, oh, you need to jump on some earlier pitches, but if that early pitch isn't what you want to see, it's kind of the two-headed snake.
It's kind of a catch-22 for Ludvigsen.
Now he's heading the count 3-1. Don't think he'll be in any hurry to swing here. So that one misses high and away for ball 4.
Well, that's where the patience pays off. He sees a strike early in the count, but he doesn't start to choke up on the bat and hover the plate and try to defend. He just kind of stays calm, cool, and collected. He says, you know what, if you're going to throw me a strike, I'll see it, but it's got to be really good. And now, with one out, you got Gavin Frazier, followed up by Mason Lang and Curiel, 2 guys that have done some damage here the past couple games.
And Ludvigsen sticking to his process there, staying patient. And all the Zap batters we've talked to in those pregame interviews have always said when they get going hot, it's them doing the same things that they've always been doing, sticking with that process. And it kind of showing there for Ludvigsen as he draws a walk. Gavin Frazier pulling back a bunt on a low pitch for ball 1. So Quinn Ludvigsen over there at first.
Big gap on that left side of the infield for Frazier if he could pull it through there.
As they try to pick off Ludvigsen, and he doesn't have to slide back in.
Well, some of these Zap base runners have been really fooled by the move of Lawson Moreno. We saw Frazier get picked off earlier in the game, and Ludvigsen kind of gotten frozen over there. Luckily, he was spitting distance from the bag, so he just kind of had to fall down on first base. But
they try him again, and he is freezing him a little bit. And with that left-handed pitcher, it is always so hard to tell when they're going to go. We saw Gavin Frazier get froze on a close play earlier. Quinn Ludvigsen, so much of his activity on the base pass is kind of jumping back and forth, and that pickoff kind of limits that as Frazier watches ball 2 in.
And I hate to say this doesn't look great, as we just saw a big lightning bolt back behind kind of lit up the whole field.
And I think Alex Sheets just relayed that news to Richard Gilmore.
And they are going to head towards the dugout. So we have entered what we believe will be a lightning delay here at Hyde Stadium. As we will stick around for a moment, we'll get the feel on how everything looks. But things have paused here as we did see that lightning bolt strike. Now, if rain comes through, you know what? Let's take the break, and we'll dive into all of that here in our rain delay show before we send it back to some music for our listeners. But we'll recap everything And we'll get you set up for this delay here at Hyde Stadium after this short break on River 92.7. It's streaming on drgnews.com.
Hey, it's your phone talking. Yeah, your phone. You know, that thing you're constantly picking up and poking around. Listen, when you're behind the wheel, would you please give me a break? You'll have plenty of time for your TikToks and, I don't know, texting your friends after you put it in park. Distracted driving, friend. No joke. One quick text or social media peek can cause a crash. And hey, I don't want any part of that. You got someplace to be. And trust me, I'll enjoy the downtime. Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety and its station.
Dunes Golf is celebrating their 30th anniversary this summer. They look forward to seeing old friends and new acquaintances on the driving range and on the course throughout the summer. Play 9 or 18 holes. Pay by the round. Save with a punch card or become a member for unlimited play. Dunes Golf is a great location for group outings or a summer play day. Call 605-223-2525 or see golfdunes.com. Just 1 mile north of Fort Pierre on Highway 1806. Dunes Golf.
Thinking of travel? Pierre Regional Airport offers nonstop flights from Pierre to Denver. From there, you can fly anywhere. Book to your destination and check bags through on United, Delta, or American Airlines. 1-hour flights on 50-passenger jets to Denver, then connecting to your destination. Save travel time and money, avoid the crowds, and free parking when you fly from Pierre Regional Airport. Skip the drive. Fly from Pierre Regional Airport.
Looking for happenings in Central South Dakota? The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce Community Calendar is your go-to for all the latest events. From entertainment to local benefits, community activities, and more, there's something for everyone. Email your event to contactchamber@pierre.org and it will be listed on the weekly calendar. To view the calendar, go to www.pierre.org. Let's celebrate together in the heart of South Dakota. The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce, connecting our community one event at a time.
We have entered a lightning delay here at Hyde Stadium, and we can only hope it was as quick as the last one where we got play back underway in 30 minutes on the dot. But this one definitely looking like it's moving into the area. We saw the flash of lightning back behind us as we look towards the Capitol, which is kind of in the backyard of Hyde Stadium. There is clouds that are as dark as the Casper Spuds black jerseys they wore yesterday afternoon. It is looking pretty grim. So the way we sit now, it's 30 minutes for every lightning strike within 10 miles of the area. There's no full field tarp here at Hyde Stadium, so if the rain comes through and does drench the field, they will likely have to postpone till we would believe maybe tomorrow. But of course, we'll keep you updated on all of that. If we are not to come back from the lightning delay, you can stay tuned on drgnews.com at the local sports page, and we'll keep you updated everything there. Let's kind of recap the scoring for you. It hasn't been much of it. 2 really good starts out of 2 really good starters here today. For the Oahe Zap, Wyatt Gladue came out, had a 7-pitch first inning, and turned it over to his offense. Vince Polizzi would bring home Nick Golden, who got hit in the face by Lawson Moreno on the first pitch. It hit him in the nose. He had to go to the hospital for a possible broken nose and possible concussion. So our thoughts and prayers go out to Nick Golden. And if he's still following along on the broadcast, buddy, we hope you're doing well. And, the Mother Nature has moved through. Maybe they can clear you quickly. We know you're probably chomping at the bit to get back to the ballpark. So the Zap took a 1-0 lead at the bottom of the first. Lawson Moreno settled in nicely for his team and delivered a couple more scoreless innings. In the top of the 4th inning, the Spuds brought a run across and tied it up at 1 apiece. The Zap got a little something going there as Quinn Ludvigsen drew a walk. But while he was in the batter's box, Gavin Frazier was taking a couple pitches, and we didn't see the actual lightning bolt itself, but we saw the reflection of the lightning kind of flash across Hyde Stadium. Didn't look like any of the umpires caught it, but Alex Sheets radioed down to the umpires on the field and said, we've got to hit a lightning delay. Now, what's kind of funny is with the lightning delay, really nobody's moved. These fans are still sitting in their seats hoping that we get some baseball still going on. But, Dilla, before we send it to some music for the folks, we're just about 5 minutes into this 30-minute lightning delay. But both of these pitchers kind of feeling the moment, knowing how big this game is, and have been pitching nicely for their teams.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see if we see either one of them after this delay. 30 minutes in starting pitcher time is an eternity, Justin. We heard that from Wyatt Gladue himself the last time he was on the headset. I don't know if we'll see him or Moreno again tonight. And Moreno is getting in the middle of a jam with Ludvigson on first and behind in the count to Gavin Frazier. So it's going to be really interesting to see on just who the Spuds turn to, because this is going to be a tricky spot to come in with Gavin Frazier. But as Justin said, just over the 5-minute mark here on this rain delay. We got 24 and a half minutes until we're back on Zap Baseball, Justin.
And we hope that it's only 24 and a half minutes. Like we said, each lightning strike will further that delay 30 more minutes. But if rain does come through the area, then it is going to likely postpone this game. We think it could possibly be made up tomorrow morning. There is a post-8 game tomorrow, so the stadium does not totally belong to the Zap, but we will have to see. Again, we will keep you updated on all of that if there is a postponement on drgnews.com at the local sports page. But it's kind of funny now, Brooks Cartwright down interviewing Bryce Van de Wastein to kind of keep these fans and folks interested. So keep an eye on the radars. As it sits right now, we're in the bottom of the 4th inning. 3 hits, 1 run for the Spuds, 3 hits, 1 run for the Zap. And the field is empty. They have tarped the pitcher's mound and the home plate area. And we hope that we get back and playing here this evening. So we're going to step away. We're going to play some tunes for you in this lightning delay. Hopefully we'll be back in, about 25 minutes time with some more Zap versus Spuds, essentially playoff baseball here, as this is a must-win game for both teams in their playoff hopes. So we're going to step away here momentarily. Hopefully we'll be back joining you in about 30 minutes time for some Zap baseball, but enjoy some tunes during this lightning delay as we are tied up here 1 apiece in the bottom of the 4th inning.
This broadcast of Oahe Zap Baseball was brought to you by DRG Media Group and its sponsors. The next home Zap game will be broadcast right here on River 92.7 and drgnews.com. Thanks for tuning in.